Hi guys, in this episode of Planet Zone, I'm gonna be sharing my thoughts on the cartoon that I recently finished reacting to, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2012 series. A lot of things that I'm gonna say about this show are things that I've already said in my reactions, so if you watch those, I don't know how much you actually need to watch this video, because I definitely will be reiterating a lot of my opinions about the show that I've shared with you guys over the course of the run. But yeah, yesterday I finished reacting to the show, and just like I said in those final few videos, the show hasn't always been good. Just like the 2003 series, the first season is a little wonky, but I feel like the first season of the 2003 series is definitely a little bit better because it definitely still has like some of my favorite episodes, even though the fighting is not that great in that first season. The 2012 series' first season doesn't really have that benefit. The fighting is not really that fluid, the visuals are definitely much worse compared to the future seasons. Like, I even remember, like, in one of my first reactions, probably even the first reaction, how I said that the graphics or the animation of the show looks very much like a fucking video game from, like, 2008. And it very much felt like a video game, like, it didn't feel like a cartoon, it definitely looked kinda bad. But to be honest, I didn't really care that much anyway, because I prefer shows that are hand-drawn over CGI, so I inherently don't like CGI shows, so I don't really put any standards on whether they're good or bad necessarily. But it was definitely bad in the first season. And honestly, the biggest issue for the first season is just how forgettable it is. Yes, it has a lot of the same positives, or at least should I say, the same high points as many of the other seasons, like the reactions the turtles give during funny moments, which is like one of my favorite things about this show. It's apparent in season 1 as well, but by and large the season is just fucking bland and uninteresting, and I can kind of give it a break because it is the first season, they need to be setting up a lot of stuff. But it also doesn't help how slow the fucking plot is. And I don't know, there's just nothing really particularly exciting about that first season. And that's why I don't really think there's gonna be many or even any episodes from season 1 in my top 22 episode video list that I'm planning to do relatively soon, but we'll see when I'm actually gonna end up doing it. It's just gonna happen in the next like 2-3 months. And I feel like one of the reasons why it took me so long to react to TMNT 2012, and especially the first season, was specifically because of how uninteresting season 1 was. The bigger reasons were obviously the fact that I was juggling too much stuff and I was busy during the summer, so I was slowed down even more. But another reason is, like I said, the fact that season 1 was just not that interesting to watch through. Because like, instantly as we got in season 2, like instantly with the first episode, you could notice so much more effort and much more inspiration in the way shots were done, in the way fight scenes were done. There was just so much more focus on the epic and cool moments, something that season 1 didn't really have that. And that doesn't mean that season 2 or even the future seasons don't have flaws. Yes, they very much do. And not every episode was a hit, even in those seasons. But in general, the quality of the show definitely improved a little bit with each season. Like I said, the most obvious change from season 1 to 2 for me was the fact that we got more dynamic shots instead of just static shots of the turtles fighting. We got more handheld camera, and that is again one of my favorite things about season 2. But in general, also the storyline just got more exciting and more interesting stuff started happening. I really like the plot in season 2, or at least how it started off with an event that the turtles caused and they needed to fix over the course of the season, and we got the Freak of the Week kind of explained this time why they exist. It's kind of very reminiscent of like the Flash TV show's particle accelerator explosion, which essentially created all the villains. Like, I kind of like that. I kind of like the fact that all the villains that you get to see during the season or seasons were all created in this one event, you know? It's just a cool concept. I even plan on employing it in some of my stories that I plan to write in the future. We'll see in which one though. Probably in the superhero one, but we'll see how I'm gonna use it. But yeah, Season 2 though still wasn't as exciting as what was about to come in the following 2 seasons. And I, similarly for Season 1, I don't really have too much to say about Season 2. Definitely was much more exciting, but it wasn't still that memorable. And it's kind of crazy, honestly, how fast I've gone through Season 2, 3, 4, and 5 compared to how much it took me for Season 1. Because, think about this. You know how my current thumbnails look in my Nostalgia Trip videos? I started doing these thumbnails midway through Season 2. And it doesn't feel that long to me. I mean, I started essentially doing it in like November or something. So I've literally reacted to 4 seasons in like 3 or 4 months, which is kind of crazy to me. But again, I've been actively trying to finish it as soon as possible. And for 2 reasons, because I took already way too long with reacting to it, but also because it's just much more fun whenever you're binging. Like when you're binging 8 episodes at a time, it's much more fun to see the story instead of just watching it one by one, especially for a show like TMNT 2012, which it's very slow and it takes a while for the story to move. It genuinely feels like I need to watch 8 episodes to actually get enough content and enough development to satisfy me, you know? But yeah, we definitely got a better finale with Season 2. A finale that actually wasn't resolved until halfway through Season 3, which was honestly a pretty cool way to go about it. Like, definitely the show started becoming more unpredictable and interesting in Season 2, for sure. And then with Season 3, it got even more batshit insane. The farm arc is still like one of my favorite arcs of this show. I flipping love the Dreamweaver episode. It's honestly still probably my favorite episode of the show. I'm not 100% sure because I gotta go back and recheck some of the episodes to see for sure, but man, do I still remember the whole plot of that episode. I think that just goes to show how much I love it. I've thought about it so much that I actually remember the plot of the episode and all the cool moments of it. If that doesn't scream your favorite episode, I don't know what will, you know? So yeah, Season 3 was even more insane, and we got so much more moving parts in it and all different stories with dealing with the invasion again, then fighting the Shredder. And oh yeah, I forgot in Season 2, Leo got beat up. I forgot about that. I'm glad that they also adapted that thrown through the window scenes like the 2003 series did. And I honestly really like the voice change with Leonardo. Even though it was like forced IRL, I still really like it. I honestly am glad that they did that because, again, it's very reminiscent of the story arc with Leo in the 2003 series, where he started to become more gruff and angry and started to sound more like Raph, essentially. And through the way he spoke, at least, not really with his voice. After he and his family almost died when fighting the Shredder. So I like that they kind of did a similar storyline with this Leo. And it definitely helped to make him a more entertaining character because he was easily my least favorite turtle in Season 1 and 2. But once we got the new voice actor, it genuinely felt like a completely different character. So yeah, it was good that they actually changed the voice actor. Nothing against the original voice actor, but I feel like the new voice actor did just get Leo better, you know? It just fit his character much better as well. To the point where I've completely forgotten how his original voice actor sounded, and to the point where when I hear how his original voice actor sounded, I just don't like it. It feels like something is missing. It really feels like Um, that's how Leo was supposed to sound like from the beginning, you know? And it definitely helped, like I said, to make him a more entertaining character to me and an interesting character. He became much more of a badass. Like, he essentially kind of went through a very similar arc to the 2003 Leo, where he became more ruthless and more angry and more badass. And I love that about it. And yeah, season 3 was really, really fun. Although, after we got back to New York, it definitely kind of went down for me a little bit. Like, the farm arc was just such a fucking crazy high concept bunch of episodes. Like, it was just crazy moment after crazy moment in that arc, and I fucking loved it because of that. The only other arcs, I guess, that did that was season 5 as a whole and the beginning of season 4 when we were in space. In that regard, both season 3 and 4 are very similar because in both seasons, I mean, I guess not necessarily, because I feel like the second half of season 4 was a little bit more exciting than the second half of season 3. I feel like the second half of season 3 kind of went back to like season 2 level of excitement for me, because there was no crazy dream beavers anymore or crazy Jason Voorhees wannabes, and it just kind of became normal New York City shenanigans with the turtles. But then the ending happened, which I was spoiled about what was going to happen at the end of season 3. But it was still kind of crazy to see the Earth destroyed and seeing the destruction in itself, how the water on the planet was sucked into the black hole. Like, that was some really cool visual there. And then we got into season 4, which is, again, a really good season. I honestly really liked it. The space arc was amazing. I loved it. We definitely got a bunch of filler episodes. And I honestly think they should have gone for more episodes. It does feel a little bit too short. Not in terms of the content, feeling that it didn't get enough time, but it feels more like it was too short in the sense that I feel like we should have gotten more. Because it's such a big arc, like the Earth was destroyed. I feel like we should have gotten a season of them trying to save the Earth. But yeah, I did really enjoy seeing David Tennant, or should I say, hearing David Tennant in the role. Thanks to you guys for pointing that out to me. I somehow didn't realize that, but once I did, I really enjoyed Professor Honeycutt's character. Although I don't want to say what the fuck happened with him. Like, he survives at the episode where he blows himself up, right? Like, his eyes or whatever, his brain was clearly working still. And they kind of left it as a cliffhanger, but we never really got a resolution to that. I expected that he was either going to show up by the end of the season, very much in the same way how he showed up in the 2003 series later on, but we didn't really get that in season 4, and I'm surprised that we didn't get that in season 5, of all things. Like, even in the goddamn post-apocalyptic future, you would think we would get that, but no, we didn't. Yeah, season 4, definitely the second half was much better because we got a lot of, we got some really new, interesting new characters like Shinigami. I really enjoyed her. And I really loved all the fights with Shredder there, where he was mutating much more. And it's just the shots and I don't know, it just felt much more epic. It really felt like we were like in the epic finale of this arc of Turtles versus Shredder. I really enjoyed those bunch of episodes. And then got into season 5 and we dialed up the batshitness to 11. Those arcs, even the ones that I didn't like, which the reason why I didn't like them as much as other ones is mainly because it just feels like there wasn't enough content for the amount of episodes that they gave us. Like the monster arc, for example, yeah, we have like 4 monsters or 3 monsters or however many monsters, so it's kind of more justified that we get 4 episodes of it than some of the other ones. But I do feel like we could have genuinely gotten 2 episodes of a really good 2-parter instead of 4 separated episodes. And that is kind of the whole issue with all these episodes. The only ones who I don't mind having as much episodes as they have is the Demon Dragon arc and the Mutant Apocalypse arc. For that one, I want more content, not less episodes, because I really like the setting that we went for with that. It was really enjoyable, and I really liked it. But for the 87 TMNT crossover, for the Usagi arc, for the monster arc, I feel like we genuinely should have gotten a couple of more, a couple less episodes. I don't really think those arcs needed as many episodes as they gave us. But yeah, season 5 was a crazy season, and in a way, I feel like it might be my favorite, just because, first of all, I do love a lot the concept that the season goes with, where it's like, instead of like one overarching long story of 26 episodes, we get a bunch of small ones which essentially feel like as epic as a season, but are much shorter, and thus are kind of more exciting because we don't have to wait 20 episodes to get a resolution on a really interesting story. And especially when it starts off, it genuinely, I really like the Demon Dragon arc because of this reason, which is that it feels like it's again continuing with the improvement. Like that first episode of season 5 is so fucking good, because just like with every season beforehand, it's even more improved compared to the previous seasons, with the visuals being at the highest they've ever been, the excitement being the highest it's ever been, the character development being at most it's ever been, and the plot development as well being the most it's ever been. And seeing Tiger Claw with this new coat, like, this just felt excitement, very exciting. It kind of felt like a sequel season to a series that was already over. Like, it kind of genuinely feels like season 4 to episode 26 should have been the finale, but instead, after like, I don't know, 5 years, they decided to make a bunch more episodes to kind of tie up all the loose ends. And it was obviously much more improved visually because of the time that has passed. It genuinely felt like that. It just felt like they were really brainstorming all these different and cool ideas with that concept of Tales of TMNT, and it was really fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was a cool ass season. I definitely would have liked a little bit more like complete feeling to the season, where there's like not only just a small these small arcs, but like an overarching connection between all these different stories, because some of the stories really feel completely disconnected and like they do not add up to anything. Like, maybe they should have gone for like some character development for all the turtles that they should have gotten during that all these arcs, to have that be like the connective tissue. That's kind of what I'm asking for. I wish it had a little bit more connective tissue, because literally for the Usagi arc, the turtles literally get pulled from their reality to the Usagi reality for no reason whatsoever. And that is kind of annoying. That is one of the reasons why I didn't like that arc that much. But yeah, overall, this show is honestly pretty fun. Some of you guys said that certain characters don't really get the best like ending or whatever. Like, especially the one that I want to talk about a little bit is Karai, who some of you said that she gets mistreated by the writers in some way, shape, or form. But to be honest, I didn't really see anything wrong with her. Like, yes, I kind of feel like all the characters were more or less screwed over in season 5 that were not named the Turtles or Karai or April. But for the most part, like, it's fine, like, where her arc went. She wanted to reclaim like the Foot Clan, which I'm fine with that, you know, because even though like she hates the Shredder and what she did, she still wants to rebuild something that he ruined. Like, it kind of makes sense in a way, because she feels guilty maybe for all the things that he has done and what she has helped him to do. Like, I don't know, it just fits in my opinion, and I like her and Shinigami together, so that is also a plus for me. I gotta say, like, I already mentioned that in like that reaction, that episode reaction, but I really like the fact that this show killed Splinter. I've said, I feel like many times, probably even in my 2003 TMNT reactions, that I really wish TMNT actually committed to killing one of their turtles in like a cartoon. That's probably obviously never going to happen because TMNT is for kids, usually the cartoons. So they would not go through with that. Hell, the company who owns TMNT, I don't know if it's the same still that owned it back then, didn't want to commit to the final episode of TMNT 2012 being a post-apocalyptic one where they find an oasis in this wasteland. They didn't want to commit to that, where the turtles actually are alive. So there's no way they were going to commit to any of the turtles dying. I'm honestly shocked that they actually committed to killing Splinter. Although, admittedly, they literally bring him back like 5 times in season 5, so was he really dead in the first place? Yeah, that was pretty cool. Although, again, they already killed him at the end of season 3, so the only reason why the death in season 4, the finale of season 4, actually hits is, I guess, because of the more foreboding feeling during season 4 that they tried to build up to his death, and just the sheer reactions of the turtles to his death. Because yeah, they were sad and emotional when he died in season 3, but the way they were animated in season 4, in the finale of season 4, like one of the last, I think it was in the final, it was on the second to last episode, I think. The way they were animated was just like, there was so much moving parts in their faces. Like, it felt really well animated. I really liked their reactions, and that is one of the biggest reasons why it hit as hard as it did, because I've never seen the turtles or April so shocked and in disbelief ever. And yeah, it was really cool. I really enjoyed that. The battle with the Shredder was a little underwhelming there, but I honestly don't really care about it too much. For me, the ending where the Necro Shredder sacrifices himself to push the Demon Dragon to hell or whatever, honestly kind of makes up for that, because I really love the look and the design and just the sheer concept of Necro Shredder, or whatever you want to call him, like the zombie Shredder. I love it so much that I can overlook any bullshit in season 4. It's just such a fucking cool concept. But yeah, going over the visuals for the show, now that we've gone through my general feelings for the plot and the seasons and everything. For the visuals of the show, like I said, for season 1 it wasn't that great. For season 2, we got some more dynamic camera movement and stuff. But I feel like it wasn't until like season 5 that we got another improvement visually. I feel like it was definitely improving like with each season and everything. But in season 5, in the latter half of season 4, it looked so fucking cinematic. I loved it, man. I really fucking loved it. Like, those shots of Shredder's house above the cliff, like, look so fucking cinematic and just make stuff so much more epic. And then in season 5 with the first episode, it looks so fucking good. And that's one of the reasons why I was so hyped up in that first episode, man. But yeah, at first, because of the bad quality of the animation of this show in season 1, I actually was kinda annoyed by how the turtles looked. But I feel like over the course of the series, with the animation getting better and everything, I actually really grew to love their designs. So I definitely will miss them. Like, this is definitely a satisfying design. I love me the 2003 TMNT design, the ones from season 1 to season 5. But this design for the turtles is also pretty good, and I honestly really ended up enjoying it by the end of the show. Especially in season 5, where, like I said, there was so much more animation and movement, and like more subtle movement in the turtles' faces, and I really enjoyed that about it. That made looking at the turtles so entertaining. So yeah, I guess let's just go over the characters of this show as well, just to make sure we've covered pretty much everything about this show. So let's start off with the turtles. Leonardo, like I said earlier, at first is not that interesting of a turtle to me, but he definitely grows to become a really badass leader, and I really enjoy him. And I really like, especially when Splinter dies, how now he has to take care of the turtles. I honestly wish that thing was explored a little bit more, because it does get kind of shoved out of the way a lot after he dies. Like, yeah, we get a couple of moments where he feels insecure or he becomes overprotective of his brothers after Splinter's death, but we don't really explore that too much, and I wish we did. But ultimately, he's actually probably my favorite turtle again in this incarnation, because he's definitely my favorite character. Well, not my favorite character, but my favorite turtle in the 2003 series because of his development in Season 4. But in this one, pretty much the same. He develops a decent amount in the course of the series, and especially because of the voice actor change, he becomes like one of my favorite, probably my favorite turtle. After that, it would probably be Mikey as the second turtle, because he was just such a funny character, and he's a huge reason for all the reaction faces, the anime-like reaction faces that we get in this show. So I cannot not like him. Like, he definitely is, he's caused some of the most enjoyable moments or most enjoyable episodes of this show, so I really like him because of that. And I also love whenever he shows his actual capability, because just like in the 2003 series, he's very much a capable fighter. He's just a lazy one. And I kind of relate to that. I feel like I am like that as well. Not to toot my own horn or anything. Because in school, especially in the last final years of school, I really was not studying at all. And while I wasn't acing the tests or anything, I was managing to pass just fine without pretty much moving a finger. So I relate to Mikey in that regard. And I just really enjoyed whenever he showed his badass capability, especially in like Dimension X. That was really cool. And over the course of the series, and if you've seen my reactions, you'll know how much it pisses me off whenever his brothers don't believe him when he tells them that something weird is fucking happening. I don't understand why they never believed him. It was so fucking annoying. After that, probably the next turtle that I enjoyed would be Raph. Biggest reason why is because he's just a very entertaining character when it comes to the fights. He's a badass fighter, and he's just satisfying whenever you see him angry. Like, that also has caused a decent amount of funny moments over the course of the series. Plus, I love his relationship with Chompy, which I guess brings me also back to mention Ice Cream Kitty for Mikey. I love those little two dudes. But yeah, I guess we should also quickly talk about the relationships for the specific turtles as well. I'm fine with Karai and Leo. Like, they've obviously gonna be paired like that. They are always paired like that. I don't have an issue with that. I've seen some people, again, kind of bring up the fact that they are kind of like a brother and sister because Splinter is their dad. But this is essentially the same situation like in CW's The Flash, where Iris's dad, Joe, takes in Barry and adopts him because his actual father gets arrested and put in prison. And personally, I actually don't see any issue with two brothers or a brother and a sister who do not have a blood connection and who didn't who are friends and had a relationship of a kind before he got adopted to get together. Like, I don't see an issue with that, especially in the case of like Barry and Iris in that one. So I don't really see an issue with that because the fact that they're a brother and sister does not in any way influence the relationship between them. Like, they're not together because they're a brother and sister, and they're not together because they're a brother and sister, if that makes any sense. Like, it doesn't inform in any way their interest in each other. So I don't think there's an issue with that, because usually at least in my eyes, the reason why incest relationships would be wrong is because, I mean, you live in the same households, excluding the fact that you are like the same, have the same genetics and are same blood and everything. It just feels wrong because of the power balance, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, because you've lived together and you are relatives, and it just feels wrong. But when it comes to adopted or essentially step siblings, I honestly don't see an issue with that, especially like I said, if they had or didn't have a preconceived connection. Like if it's a brother and sister who one of them is born on both of them are born on the same date, for example, but one is adopted and the other one is actually born by the parent. In that case, I would definitely see an issue because they've grown with each other as brother and sister. But in the case of Leo and Karai, they never knew each other until they were in their teen years, and they already started forming a kind of somewhat romantic relationship before they realized that they are brother and sister, essentially. So for me, it's not really an incesty relationship, and I'm fine with it. Like, it's not my favorite relationship in this show, but it's fine. Then there's the Mikey and Renette relationship, which I think is probably my favorite one. Just because, just like Mikey, I have a crush on Renette. Big reason why is probably because of the voice actress that plays Renette, because I'm pretty sure that was the voice actress that plays Ellie in The Last of Us, who, again, I like a lot, have a crush on. But I also just like her character. Like, she's really funny, she's a time traveler, and I just love how she treats Mikey. Like I said, because I relate to him a lot, I hope once I get a girlfriend, she could be like that as well. And I just really like that loving relationship between the two of them, and I really wish we got more of it because it was so wholesome and so satisfying. Especially because Mikey doesn't crush that much over the course of the show. He only crushes on Renette and Shinigami. Which I guess, now that I think about it, that is also a relationship that I gotta mention, because I love with that relationship. Not between Mikey and Shinigami, between Shinigami and Karai, which in my opinion is a canon relationship. So yeah, next would be Raph and Mona Lisa. I'm sure that's a fan favorite relationship because some of you guys have really enjoyed seeing that relationship and have commented about it. For me, I definitely enjoy it. I like it. I think it's a good relationship. I definitely like it more than Karai and Leo, but I ultimately don't really care about it too much. I only enjoy it. I mostly enjoy it in the sense that I enjoy seeing Raph, who is like the mean bad boy kind of turtle, be so soft and wholesome with Mona Lisa. That is kind of the thing that makes that relationship. And then there's Donnie and his relationship with April. First of all, I want to talk about Donnie as a character and how I feel about him. He's fine. He's not, like I said, he's my least entertaining turtle, but least favorite turtle, but he's not like any worse than his brothers. Like, all of them are like pretty close in terms of how much I like them, especially as the show goes on. And honestly, out of the post-apocalyptic versions of the Turtles, he might be my favorite because I just really like the concept of him essentially ending in a very similar fate to Professor Honeycutt. And it's really weird to me how I feel like Donnie ending up as a robot in the post-apocalypse feels wrong and sad and more tragic than Professor Honeycutt ending up as a robot. I guess it might be because we were introduced to Professor Honeycutt as a robot instead of as a person who then becomes a robot, compared to Donnie, who we've seen as a turtle for 5 seasons and then he becomes a robot after the mutant apocalypse. But yeah, I definitely like him as a robot there. His design in that also was, in my opinion, superior to his design in the show in general. But yeah, there's his relationship with April, which, I mean, it's not great. It's just not great. We got some cool reactions and cool scenes because of his relationship with April, but it's just annoying that the show doesn't want to decide on whether they want to have April with Casey or April with Donnie. So anytime Donnie, like when Donnie was about to accept the fact that April doesn't want to be with him, she literally just goes back and kisses him again. So what the fuck was the point of that? They were just too busy, and too focused on pushing the love triangle instead of actually deciding what they wanted to do with the characters in their relationship. So that is definitely not an interesting couple in my opinion. But then there is again one of my favorite couples in the show, which I guess I mean, it's not clear whether it's canon or whether it's not canon, but Shinigami and Karai. Like, just because two girls are friends doesn't mean that they're a couple. But I don't know, I'm kind of sucker for that shit, so I'm personally going to choose to consider it canon. I just feel like their care for each other, especially of Shinigami towards Karai, I just love it. And the way they behave around each other and their body language just screams couple. And I love it. I really, really do. I really like it. I really wish they actually did that. That would have been really fucking cool. The first LGBT relationship in TMNT history. That would have made some headlines. It would have been cool. And I personally consider it canon. So there's that. Yeah, some really cool relationships in this show. Let's see, who else are we forgetting in terms of characters. I guess we should also go over the villains. Let's start off with the Krang. Honestly, until we got Krang Supreme, I really didn't give a shit about the Krang. Their gimmick, that was that thing that is called annoying, got annoying very fast, in my opinion. And it was just really funny seeing Krang Supreme like just mock them and treat them as imbeciles. Like, it was so funny. That's why Krang Supreme is like my favorite villain of the show, because not only is he strong, he's funny, he has a cool personality, and he has an interesting backstory. And also, I can feel bad for him because of his genuine fear towards the Triceratons. Which brings me to the Triceratons, which I think they were a formidable threat of this show, but I feel like they got stopped from destroying the Earth way too easily, and I feel like we didn't really get them as much as we should have. I feel like their weight is kind of overdone in the finale of Season 3 and then under-delivers in Season 4. I feel like they should have done more with them, you know? But they didn't, so there's that. I feel like the 2003 series did them a little better, in my opinion. But I still like them a lot here. And in relation to the Krang, I also want to talk about a little bit about the Utroms. I really like the concept of the Utroms and how they were the original beings, which later on became the Krang. And I love that all the named Utroms, which is Bishop, Pawn, Queen, and Knight, who I think is Krang Supreme. Like, I love how all of them are named after chess pieces. That was really cool. That was a really interesting way to actually explain like the Bishop name. I really, really like that. And talking about Bishop, I like him. He's definitely a radical departure from what Bishop was in the 2003 series. But I'm just happy that the 2003 series' Bishop made such an impact on the TMNT universe that they actually officially added him to the lore of TMNT. Like, imagine how crazy is that. Imagine your favorite franchise, whatever it may be, and imagine a character on a certain incarnation being so impactful that they get added to the official canon. Like, that is so fucking cool. And I feel like they kept enough of the Bishop character in this iteration to where I'm not bothered that he is such a radical departure, you know? Because I was definitely bothered by that fact a little bit, because when you think about it, Bishop in the 2012 series is literally what Mortu is in the 2003 series. AK, the guy who created the suit. I'm not sure actually whether in the 2012 series it was Bishop who created that metal suit, but they're essentially the same thing, who is like the human-looking ally who is a good Ultron. So it bothered me that they named him Bishop when there was already an existing character in the 2003 series that basically fit the same role. But at the end of the day, he looks like a bishop, he fights like a bishop, so I ultimately enjoy him a lot. I wish though that he played a little bit of a bigger role as the head of the EPF, because it could be interesting seeing a different iteration of Bishop that is an alien in this case, but who was still like an somewhat evil, or at least unlawful, or was it lawful evil? I don't remember the terms for that, but like I wanted to see him as the head of the EPF for longer and have him be like a more of a gray area ally who is not necessarily always on the side of the turtles for everything, which is what we got in that Chompy episode where his mom went to visit him to Earth, which just thinking about that episode makes me fucking sad, man. That was such a sad sequence of in that episode of where she realizes that her baby is in safe hands, so she just leaves. Like, man, that breaks my heart just thinking about it. But yeah, are we missing anybody? I don't really want to go through all the filler villains that we have in the show. For the most part, I really don't give a shit. Shredder's lackeys, I mean, for the most part, they're fine. I feel like they're interesting enough, but some are definitely more entertaining than others. If I had to rate them or rank them, it would probably be Bebop and Rocksteady, Tiger Claw, and then Razar and Fish Face. They were definitely the least favorite. But I do want to say that I kind of wish that they didn't introduce the Bebop and Rocksteady, because I mean, I even said so in my reaction that I feel like we already had the two lackeys of the Shredder who are dumbasses, a thing with Razar and Fishface, and literally once Bebop and Rocksteady showed up, Razar and Fishface kind of got overlooked quite a lot. But admittedly, Bebop and Rocksteady were pretty funny in this iteration. I did end up enjoying them quite a lot. And also, I feel like they were, again, radical enough departure to where they didn't necessarily feel like those versions, but they felt like their own thing in a way. So overall, I enjoyed them as well. As for April, I actually enjoyed this version of April more than the 2003 version of April, because this one actually gets involved in the plot and actually develops. I think she's the one character of the show that actually develops over the course of the series. From just a silly teenager to somebody who can actually fight like a ninja and has fucking telekinetic powers. Like, that is fucking awesome. She gets really cool development, especially in the latter half of the show. And in season 4, like, once she became like a Kunoichi and had the powers boosted by the crystal, that was such cool episode, a bunch of episodes. I really enjoyed that. She's definitely the better version of April, in my opinion. And then there's Casey, who is kind of just there. I did like the destruction of his skull in season 5 though. That was a pretty badass way for that character to be completely obliterated, I guess. But it does bother me that in season 5 he literally didn't do jack shit. And every time he got hurt, just so he can be written out of the plot. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, am I forgetting anything about the show? Right now, I think I've pretty much covered all I have to say about it. Like, if you want to hear more specific thoughts that I have, just go and watch the reactions, man. I really don't have much to say that I already haven't said in those. And right now, this is just pretty much it. It's a fun show. I definitely grew to love this a lot because, like I said, I think it was in the final episode reaction, I didn't start reacting to this show because I wanted to. I started reacting to this show because you guys were really interested in me reacting to the show. You guys really wanted me to check it out. And because I thought it would be good for my channel to react to a show that people want to see from me, you know? Because at the time, obviously, a big part of my fans and subscribers were the people who watched the TMNT 2003 series. So I decided that it would be smart for me to satisfy those people. And that's why I started doing reactions to that show, and that is why also I started reacting to all three shows at the same time: the TMNT 2012 series, the Fullmetal Alchemist 2003 series, and Generator X. Because I didn't feel like the TMNT 2012 was satisfying enough as a show, so I wanted to kind of balance it with some other shows that I feel would have been more entertaining to me. And very much in like the beginning when I was reacting to all three shows at the same time, TMNT 2012 was by far the least interesting show, with the Fullmetal Alchemist 2003 series being by far the most entertaining as an adult. But over the course of the show, especially season 2 onwards, I genuinely grew to love this show to the point that now I love it. I respect it. I still prefer the 2003 series, but I respect this show, and this show definitely did things better. I feel like the fighting is definitely more energetic in this one. But I still think maybe in some scenes the 2003 series wins over this. I'm not sure in regards to that, because I feel like the way the fights are done in both of the shows are so far from each other that you can't really compare them. You can't. I don't really think you can compare like a very fast-paced CGI fight versus hand-drawn, slower but more creatively choreographed fights, you know? So I feel like both have their strengths and weaknesses in that regard, but this show definitely earned my respect, in my opinion. It definitely earned it, with each season more and more. Like, seasons 3, 4, and 5, I definitely wouldn't mind rewatching at some point in the future. But season 1, honestly, I don't really give a shit about it. I don't like it. But yeah, again, I do want to remind you that at some point in the future, in the next couple months, I will be doing a video in which I will be ranking my top 22 episodes of this series. The number of episodes that I'm going to be ranking might change. Right now, I want it to be 22 episodes, but we'll see whether that's going to be the case, because I don't know if I can actually come up with 22 episodes of the show that I genuinely enjoy and that I'm not just forcing to put on that list just to fill up the list, you know? Because off the top of my head, there's probably only like barely 10 episodes that I actually remember off the top of my head that I really, really enjoy. So yeah, I'll definitely be going to be doing that, and hopefully you guys are going to continue watching other shows with me. Maybe if you're not interested in Fullmetal Alchemist 2003 or Generator Rex, you could be interested in Ben 10 or some future show that I'm gonna be reacting to, like some other Transformers shows, or Secret Saturdays, or Monster Buster Club, or Witch, or Winx, or Totally Spies, or I don't know, there's so many shows that I want to react to. I can't even number them all, mention them all, because I want to react to other shows as Bakugan, or Beyblade, or the Yu-Gi-Oh! Dubs as well. There's just so many, I can't remember them all at this point. I really gotta think about the shows that I want to react to. So, maybe you guys could share some cool cartoons that you have liked and that you enjoy, preferably ones that are a little older. Like, for example, other shows that I just remember that I want to check out are the Ultimate Spider-Man, the Spectacular Spider-Man, the 90s Spider-Man. Those are going to be 3 shows that I'm going to be checking out for sure. There's a really cool cartoon called Gormiti, I think it was. I'm talking about the hand-drawn version, not the CGI one. I'm gonna be reacting to, like I said, a bunch of Transformer series, like Transformer as animated. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. I cannot really say them all, but there's a lot. So hopefully you'll find something that you can enjoy. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the show. But if you guys have any questions for me that I failed to answer in this video or in my reactions in regards to this show, feel free to comment and I'm gonna do my best to answer all of them. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, check out the link in the description to my Twitter if you don't follow me over there, and to my Wattpad where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you don't enjoy my stories or simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to my Patreon or to my Ko-fi account where you can pledge support and help get the channel going, help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. But if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways, like liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and especially sharing this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. And I think this is pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!